And then you want to make sure it's on perfectly, so I'll spin it around. See, it kind of goes this way, so I need to push it this way a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit. So I might tilt it back this way a tad. Push it back this way a tad. Eventually you get it perfectly centered the way you want it to be. I think that's pretty close. Next, I'll take my rounded side of my with a knife, the beveled end, and I'm just going to push it into that seam, and that'll help make it attach really well. Fills in that little seam gap. Makes it stronger. So then finally, I'll take my sponge. Sponges are great for smoothing. And I'm just going to stick it in there a little bit. So there you go. So there's my knob on my lid. And this is actually a pretty nice fitting lid, and it looks nice. Now, when I made my lid, I could have continued to curve up through the lid, so it's a continuous curve. Okay, but it was a decision on my part to just make it flat. One of the reasons why I did that is sometimes if you have a lid that is too tall, and when you tilt it up, and you know, the lid might fall off. So nice fit. So there's the lid. Okay, now I need to turn this up. One of the things I like to do is I like to use my meter tool as a measuring device to help me figure out how thick it is going down the side. So I'll stick it in, and we're just so I can just barely see it start to poke through. Tells me how thick it is, so it's fairly thin right there. It's about 1/8 of an inch there, so I know it's. I'll come down, and then I'll come down about 1 inch. And then I'll pull it out. It's that thick right here, so I'll make 2 little hash marks that distance apart. And then finally I want to go ahead and measure the very bottom center. Now I will take my fingernail and fill those holes in later on, because you don't want a teapot that's going to have a little leak. That would be very pleasant. So it's about 1/2 inch on the bottom. So I'll make 2 little hash marks that distance apart. So that lets me know how thick it is right there. And finally I'll memorize the inside mark. The bottom of my pot's really rounded because that's what I wanted. And I'll center this. Yeah, today was just a beautiful day. Now you want to center the part that you're going to trim. It's just a little bit off. Right. Sometimes, some days are better at this than others, so it just depends on how I feel. I had too much sugar from the Easter basket. There you go. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, now I'm going to make a little band of water around here that my coils will stick to the bat better, and I don't want to get any water on my pot, or because my coils will end up sticking to the pot. So I push down on my pot, hopefully it won't shift as I put my coils around. it's supposed to get up to 61 on Sunday, right? Anybody? We'll have to get the your scooter out. Start riding. Okay, there it is. Now, just to be on the safe side, I might put a little bit more coils around just to build it up. I hate it when, it never really happened to me before. But I don't like it, the idea of a pot coming off the back. And normally, if it's ever happened to me, I'd usually catch it before it does any damage. But if you play it safe and put some coils around it, especially coils that will really give you a little peace of mind. Okay, finally I'm ready to trim, but I'd like to reinforce all that information. Let's see, I'm going to put right here, I know it says 1/8 of an inch, so I want to start trimming there. So I'm probably going to be safe trimming from here on up. Here I can come in about 1/8 of an inch. So why don't I go ahead and come in about 1/8 of an inch right there. And then I'll trim it a little bit right here. And then the outside of the foot will be about there. The inside will come in about 1/4 of an inch. The inside of the foot. And then I can trim down about 1/8 of an inch there, not before I have to worry about going through. That'll work. Now I want to trim out all this area. This feels pretty good. It's nice and leather hard. It's not too soft. If it was, you don't want it to be gummy or sticky in any way. Kind of pass this around. So, see how that feels. It's not too hard, which is a good thing too. So. Okay, now I'm ready to take out all this area out here. My large loop trimming tool and take off all these marks. And this is great for helping you continue figuring out the curve and defining the curve. snare drum, you know you're getting pretty thin. So it doesn't feel too bad. You look at the curve, refine the curve a little bit more. That's good. Okay, now I'm going to even out the bottom of the foot. I think I talked to y'all about this before. Use that sharp edge and start in the inside and take off little strings as you pull out, and that'll perfectly level out the bottom of the foot. And then I'll undercut it. We'll round off these edges. It's one way of getting rid of all that stuff, those trimmings. And I like to take my finger and smooth out the foot as well. Kind of rounds everything off a little bit. Okay, another thing you can do that's helpful, and I learned this by working under John Tilton, who's a famous potter from Alachua, Florida.